All right, we still know that the housing market is still red hot. Later on this morning, we'll get a closer look from the federal government at the number of new homes sold during the month of February, which will provide some insight into the health of the inflated plagued economy.
And that report is projected to show 810,000 homes sold last month, which is a slight dip from January, but still among the highest monthly totals over the course of the last decade. The price for new homes is also expected to rise as the cost for supplies, labor, and transportation continue to impede residential developers. So if you are a buyer or a seller, this is important information for you to know. And to provide some context to those numbers, we're joined now by Tim Rood, the managing director at SitusAMC, a financial real estate company, and a former executive with Fannie Mae, the government-sponsored mortgage company. Tim, thank you for joining us this morning. What are your expectations for new homes sold during the month of February?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of room to run for the housing market. You're seeing homes under construction is actually the highest it's been since 2006. But because of supply chain issues, finding, affordable buildable lots, skilled labor, you're actually seeing is that actually the permits, that's the houses that are actually already approved to be built, is the highest that it's been in 50 years. But it's not so much of getting the permits or even getting them started, it's getting them finished. That's the tricky part. It's just difficult to get them over the line. But yeah, demand is insatiable despite interest rates going up almost 2% over the last, year and a half or so. So, certainly green shoots all around the housing market for the foreseeable future.
And of course, there's a lot of numbers that go into this, but what do specifically these numbers in regards to the housing market say about the health of the overall economy?
Well, housing is usually a proxy for the overall health of the economy. So, I mean, if you're seeing 20%, year-over-year appreciation rates, that says something about the economy, which is also obviously it's probably overheating. I think most would say, at least coming out of the Fed meeting. So that's why you're seeing interest rates kind of bump up. If you got to throttle back the appreciation levels on housing, that's not a sustainable pace. 20% a year appreciation rates. You're seeing actually the cost. If you were looking at a house last year, the combination of the home price appreciation and the increase in interest rates means that you're paying today about 30% more than you would have been paying a year ago. So there's no doubt that all of these things are going to moderate. But again, just the inescapable realities is the demographics and the supply and demand is you're probably 2-3 million units short, both rental and owner-occupied residential, short from where the demand is. So even if builders doubled their capacity, which is impossible, it seems like right now, it would still take 20 years to catch up to demand. So interest rates are going to have to rise a heck of a lot further to really stifle this economy or stifle the housing market. And the challenge is, of course, the alternative to home ownership was either rental, right? And rents are keeping up the same pace as owner-occupied residential home ownership. Mm-hmm. So there's really nowhere to go. I mean, and 330 million people in the U.S. and they've got a bias towards living indoors. So you got to pick your poison.
And so what does the trajectory of this look like if these home prices are continuing to rise for several reasons? How much longer will they continue to rise before they potentially plateau, or is there kind of no end in sight?
I'll tell you, demand is so high. What you're seeing is record low inventory levels. But even every month, when you're starting to see inventory pick up, one thing is very consistent, which is 30-odd% of those properties go under contract immediately, right? The other properties are taking about 2 weeks to sell. That's a pace that just demonstrates that I don't know what interest rates could possibly do, but there is so much demand that it's inconceivable to me how you're going to see much of a slowdown in that market in 2022. Now, 2023 could be a different story, but remember, higher interest rates, of course, make homes less affordable, but they also take some of the incentive for a seller to list their property. Because look, if I wanted to move down, well, properties have already appreciated so much, and now I've got to get out of my 2 3/4% 30-year fixed, and I've got to jump into a 4 3/4, 5% 30-year fixed. It just becomes unaffordable to move down, and then moving up even looks more daunting.
Yeah.
So you don't list your property.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Tim Rood, Managing Director at SitusAMC, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Yeah, you bet. Take care.